Hi, it's Toby from Heavyweight MMA today with Jarrett Wilbraham from Freestyle MMA, fresh off his title win on Wollongong Wars. Wollongong Wars 9 it was, man. Tell us straight up, like, how was it, man? How was that fight? You won with a stoppage, which seems to be a common thing for you to do, bro. Good thing. How are you feeling right now, and how was the fight?
Yeah, it's always my goal to finish the fight, but like I'm still on the high just because of the crowd that was there. I don't know how many people were there, maybe 70 people came to watch me, and it was just the atmosphere was crazy. I don't think I'll ever fight in front of a crowd like that again, even if it is on the UFC. Just the fact that everybody there knew me personally, it was like a really good experience.
Yeah, man, there's kind of nothing like getting a win in something like that. Like the intensity of the sport in itself, and then the build up, like all the effort that goes into it. Got your friends there, the pressure that adds onto it a little bit, and then you get that KO win, like the best way you could win. That's what you kind of fight for, right?
That's why we do it. Yeah, absolutely. Just to be on that high for a short period of time.
It's crazy, right? It's crazy life you guys lead.
Yeah, I guess it's different for me now though, because it's not just for the highs anymore. Like I want to make a career out of this, and I want to try to make money out of this. Been living in the van for 3 years, and training full time. I really want to see a return in money. That's my goal now, is to create a life.
True, man. And to be honest, in the scene you're in Australia, bro, it's very difficult, right? Like you've got your money that you get from the promotions, which is pretty piss poor. Then you've got some sponsors, hopefully you can pick up along the way. How else are you planning to get cash, bro? Is that through your social media presence and this sort of thing?
Yeah, I'm doing like a online platform at the moment where I just break down a few techniques by fighters and kind of show it in tutorials. That's going all right for me. It's paying for my food and petrol. So as long as that keeps carrying on, I'm pretty happy to just keep going.
Bro, on that one, I've seen you put up some clips with, I believe it's your girlfriend going through techniques. I saw the last one with O'Malley, Peter Yarn. It was nice, man. It was good to watch. Is that the sort of thing that you have shared on your platform?
Yeah, that's what's on the platform, all that sort of thing. Yeah, it's mainly to help people that are just getting into fighting. It's great for fighters. I have to wind it back a bit and kind of direct it more towards people that are getting into the sport. I think that's the direction I want to head. Help those people, because that used to be me, and it's a hard gig, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. Like it definitely looks like useful, and not just for your entry level fighters, man. For people that maybe don't have the time or don't want to sit down and analyze things, you're actually doing it for them, so it can give you that little kickstart into it rather than having to sit down and analyze a fight. You're taking that step. So no, it's good stuff, man. Good stuff. I'll share that later on the platform, bro. So what other sort of things you're doing? You're also doing a podcast, right? Is that part of the plan as well?
I was doing a podcast a while ago. I
Yeah.
think it's something I might get back into. A lot of people have been messaging me about, wanting me to get back into podcasting. I think I will think about doing that.
It's all a matter of time, right? Like you can't fit everything at once. You're already pretty flat out with just your training and recovery and whatever else you do. And then you to analyze stuff people don't always understand. It's not like you can just watch something for 5 minutes and make a video. It's a pretty big thing to do, right? Like you're gonna spend a lot of time watching, breaking it down, and then showing it and filming it and then editing it. It's not an easy thing to do. So yeah, you can only fit in what you can fit in, right?
Yeah, that's it. I want to get it right too. I don't want to do anything half-assed. I always want to get things right. So it does take a lot of time.
Yeah, that's the way, man. And how do you foresee yourself doing that, bro? Like turning that into money, just slowly improving, getting better at the processes and the editing and everything, just to make it as professional as you can. Is that the idea, or just to get the word out about it?
No, I do want to start gaining more money from it, and then looking to be able to pay some people to kind of get in there and help me make it look a lot more professional. That's my goal. Like, I know that it's a small subscription, like $3.50 US a month, but the value that's in there is like really good. So I'm going for high numbers of subscribers rather than a short number for a more expensive price.
Cool, bro. Awesome. So, man, on that note, so that's your social media looking increasing. What about on the fighting side, bro? Obviously, you've had a good career thus far in the pros. You've had 6 wins, 5 stoppages, bro. You had the 1 loss against Cody. Obviously, you weren't that happy about it, but we live and learn. What's the plans now, bro? You mentioned that you got some plans for 2023.
Yeah, well, that last fight was at featherweight. Usually I'm fighting at bantamweight, and it takes me about 14 weeks to make to make bantamweight. So now fighting at featherweight, realistically, I'm only 2 weeks away or a week away from making that weight. So this next year will be really active for me. I'll go back and talk to my manager, to my head coach, Joe Lopez, and see what he thinks I should do. And then, I'll follow that direction, because obviously Alex has paved the way in how to get into the UFC and how to be number 1 pound for pound. And I'd like to try to repeat that process.
Cool, man. And mentioning Joe Lopez and Alex and that, man, Alex Volkanovski, give us a little bit about like what you feel training at Freestyle. You obviously trained a couple of different places, but what would you say are the good things about training at Freestyle? What's it like to walk in that gym for someone that just comes in, like you came in from external? What is it like to join that team and be there, bro? What's the style of the gym?
It's absolutely awesome because it's so like tight, like everyone there, it's like a real family. Everyone's willing to just go out of their way to help people. The knowledge going around, like they do not hold back on knowledge. As soon as I got there, Alex was like, this is what I do. I'll show you. Once he sees you get something, he's on to the next thing, on to the next thing. If Joe sees an area you need to work on, he'll tell you, you need to do this, and you just listen and you just do what you're told and just put your head down and just work hard, and, success is there. Even like Colby has helped me so much with my jiu-jitsu, Colby Thickness. We got Lockjaw there. Justin, he just won the Eternal strap. We got Matty Gibson, he just won his fight, first pro fight, and Amina as well, just 2-0 as a pro. So our team is really successful, and it's getting better.
Man, the good thing that I see coming from the gym in particular is that it's drawing a lot of fighters together, with a common goal of, improving, and whether that's UFC guys like Jamie Malaki, Josh Coolabauer, or your local scene guys like Josh Kuhn and that coming down, man. It seems to be like kind of the center at the moment of kind of at least the east side of Australia, MMA people getting together and, improving.
Yeah, for sure. You pushed hard in freestyle. Our training regime is intense, and I don't think many other gyms are training that hard. So I can see why, people want to come down and train here and really being pushed to their limits. I think you realize after a while it's not even about getting any fitter. It's about being absolutely wrecked and being able to just push through the pain and just keep going.
That's a bonus, bro. Being down there, bro, the gym's in Windang, Wollongong area. You're from Nowra, is that correct?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
What's that part of the world like for everyone, bro? Like, what's it like down there?
Wingdang's beautiful. I was shocked. Like, I've always known Wingdang, but I've always thought of it as, I don't know why I thought of it as a bit of a rough place, but no, it's unreal. The beach is beautiful. The houses are beautiful. It's just got a real good, like a good vibe, to it. But in saying that, I'm from Nowra, so it's comparing it to Nowra. But Nowra's a good place as well. I'm blessed I can go back and forth between my hometown and training. I go home on the weekends, but I'm back training all through the week.
Yeah, bro. Sometimes if you're from there, you probably take it for granted a bit too, bro. Like beautiful beaches and all these things. It's not something everyone gets, man. Just to give you my example, I'm living in Macau, which is a place in China. It's 3 small islands. Since COVID's been on, bro, I've been here for 3 years. It's a small place. You could drive from the top to the bottom in maybe 20 minutes or something. And I've been stuck here for 3 years, bro, because of quarantine and everything. And the beaches here, bro, is like black sand and brown water, and you walk out and it's like walking into some mangroves, bro. It's all muddy and shit. So Don't take it for granted, bro. Enjoy it while it's there.
I'll take that advice, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy, man. Now, China's a different world. We're just starting to change things as of this week, so things are starting to free up a little bit. So hopefully, give it 2023. I think we'll be able to at least freely travel in and out, so I can spend a bit more time back home. Yeah, it's crazy.
Are you there long term? Are you looking to come back?
Bro, I'm here. I've been here for 16 years in China. Long time, but I don't know. We'll see. I want to come back and visit now. I'm not sure what my future really holds. I'm kind of stuck in the middle and got a good career over here and that. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Bro, on that, bro, have you had much chance to travel? You seem like the type of guy that has kind of interest in the world and motivated sort of guy. Obviously, you'd be interested in that, right? Have you done much travel?
Yeah, well, I kind of came to this point in my life where I was at a complete crossroads, and I kind of looked at my life in one direction, and it was traveling the world and really enjoying all these things and living that sort of adventurous life. Or do I fight and follow my dream? And, with all the CTE and all that sort of stuff coming through, I had to really weigh it up and be like, am I willing to maybe be in a physically not the best shape when I'm older? And I couldn't not fight. I feel like I was born for it. I had to give up one, and fighting's what I chose. But I'm hoping after I finish a career in fighting, I have enough money to travel the world and do all of those sorts of things, because I owe it to my partner as well. She stuck by me, gave up her life for me as well. So that's the life I chose.
Bro, the thing is, like you said, you came to the crossroad. In a way, the two will hopefully combine, bro. Given your current success, if you can keep on that path, the two draw into each other, bro. You got guys like, I talked to Dan Hooker, which I mention so often to people when I'm talking on here, but Dan Hooker, one of the things he loves about the lifestyle is that he gets to travel around and meet new people and experience new places. And, it combines, bro. Once you become successful enough to be able to travel internationally, which, to be honest, you could do it now if you really wanted to. There's fights happening in every country now. MMA is a popular thing, so you can potentially combine it now if you wanted to, but to do it in the right way with a target in mind and everything, and to train with your guys, you could do it that proper way, which going through UFC. But yeah, you're going to get to travel the world as long as you keep pushing, you keep being successful, bro. You're going to go to different places and just make the most of it. And that's the start of your international travel. And you just make sure you make the most when you do get to travel to different areas to fight,
I appreciate that, Toby, man. Cheers.
Yeah. No, man, that's Dan said even if he wasn't as successful as he was, he'd still be traveling the world just to fight, even if he wasn't making money. So I think it's something you can get out of it. You can actually do it. It's like I always think that, like, people are saying, I really would like to fight overseas. I'm thinking, what's really stopping people? Because you can go, like, as you can go to Thailand, you can get a fight, no problem, easy. But you can do that everywhere. There's fights in Macau, and I'm in this small little town. There's fights in China. There's fights in Hong Kong, just around my region. Every country has people fighting, bro. You just have to get there or find the right contacts that'll bring you over to fight, because they're always keen to have international fighters on, So there's always a potential. You look at like Adesanya and all his teammates pretty much fought in China so much before they actually fought on the big scenes. They just went over, had some connections through the original sort of founders of kickboxing and that in New Zealand, have some connections in China. And that's how they kind of built themselves up, was fighting in the international sort of fights, putting themselves out there. So it's always a possibility if you wanted to do that too. Yeah.
For sure, yeah. Yeah, I haven't really thought of it that way. It's like when I fought over in Perth, you get your flight paid for both ways. So I just booked my flight back like a week later, and I got to have a holiday, and it was kind of like a free holiday. So yeah,
man.
I guess I have traveled through fighting already.
Yeah, bro. It's only a tiny bit bigger step, because Asia is very close to you guys. It's only just around the corner. Like I've actually met quite a few Aussies and Kiwis that have fought over this way in Hong Kong. In the early days when I first got here, like I said, it was 16 years ago. There was a lot of guys that were big in the Australian scene fighting Muay Thai in Hong Kong. Now MMA has come along. There's been a few different people. It would have been, I think it's 12 or 13 years ago, in the very building I'm in right now, had Dan Hooker, Kai Kara France, a few other big names kicking off just in smaller fights in a show called Legend FC. So yeah, it's a good thing to do if you get the chance.
Unreal.
Maybe Joe Lopez should be looking at getting a few guys some fights overseas just out of interest, you know?
Yeah, I like the sounds of it.
Yeah, bro. Now, jumping back, bro, that Cody Haddon fight, you said you were not happy with your performance, bro. Back then, you were training with a different gym, I believe, yeah, and now you switched gyms. How would you see your performance now that you just had in comparison to your Cody Haddon fight, and what improvements did you make?
I've made huge improvements. Like, I've really tried to understand freestyle's game as a whole, and
Mm.
it's really broadened the way that I do think about fighting. I think it's a lot more, I have a game plan when I go into the fight a lot more now. Really,
Yeah,
they've helped me integrate that. For the last fight with Haddon, I went into that fight really calm, because on
yeah,
the previous fight, when I fought Jamie Hunt, I walked out, I was in the dressing sheds, I walked out into the cage and I felt nothing, like no nerves, no adrenaline, absolutely nothing. And I thought, I had a good performance in that fight, and I thought that's what I have to keep doing is recreate that. And I got
yeah,
even calmer for the Cody fight. And then I got in there, and I guess I was way too calm. And when the fight started, I really struggled to find my groove in the fight. But for this one, like, this fight was different for me, because this was me looking at my life, basically saying, this is what I want to do. I owe it to all the people in my life, and I have to beat this guy. I cannot lose this fight.
yeah,
And I went into this fight with a lot of emotion. I really was emotional going into this fight, and it made me really stand there and like throw down and not care about any injury, not care about anything but just getting the win. I knew in the Cody fight, I thought I'd figure out a way to win, but in this fight, I knew that if I wanted to win, I had to go straight in and just take it.
yeah. Yeah, man, I could see when you mentioned that you're like more of a technical striker, but in that fight you were rushing, right? You could see it. You were just rushing to get in there and really fight him, which is a shame, right? I'm sure that's something that you're kind of working on, because the freestyle. I mean, you look at Volk as kind of the epitome of the freestyle style, and he's very the cerebral, as they say, right? Just like on the outside, thinking, moving, and kind of similar in a way to those CKB guys. They're not rushing themselves. At times they know when to turn it on, but at the times they're working a game plan and that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the hard thing, is I don't think I'll ever be happy with any performance training here at Freestyle until I'm going out there and performing exactly like Alex is. He's my benchmark now, and I always like perfection. Like, even in this last fight, I watched it back on the way home, and I wish I didn't, because I was more pissed off. And then it wasn't even bad. It was the tiniest little mistakes. It wasn't even that bad, but I really, like, I guess, judge myself for it, and I want to be perfect in there.
Man, that's not a bad thing, It's not a bad thing to, be more critical than the opposite. You could just be like, pumping yourself up, saying you don't need to do anything, but what you're doing is critically looking at your stuff. It's going to lead to more improvement, right? And you're critiquing other fighters, so why not critique yourself too, bro? And that's the path to improvement, right? You're going to move faster than some people.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying I'm, the best fighter out there. I have a long way to go, and I need to improve. I'm 6-1, but that's just a record. I only judge myself on my last performance, and I have a lot that I need to work on.
Yeah, bro, that's it. Man, you started straight into the professional ranks, like when you'd hardly even trained, and it's kind of funny, man. It's cool in a way. Did you have anything before that? Like, did you have any kind of serious experience before that, before you kicked in, or you just went straight into training MMA firstly?
Like, experience in fighting?
Yeah, yeah. Apart from just like street fighting or whatever, I mean like formal training, whether it's martial arts or boxing or.
No, I was literally trained for 10 months just purely in MMA. I went to a kickboxing gym before I started MMA for maybe a month or two. And
Yeah.
when I got there, I said I wanted to fight straight away. And they said I had to train for at least like 2 to 3 years first. So I
Wow.
left that gym, got put onto
You left
another
that,
gym.
you left that gym and you went to a gym that said, right, give it in a month or so, we'll put you into a tournament for a professional MMA fight, right? Crazy.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And then I think so, like 10 months training all up, including that month or two kickboxing. I had my first pro fight in like an elimination for a pro title, and I managed to win both the fights of that night. So I had a pro title on my very first fight ever.
Yeah, that was in storm damage or something, right?
Storm damage, yeah.
Yeah, man. It's a kind of different approach, bro. But what approach do you think's better? Like I think I heard you mention in one of your interviews about building people up in the amateurs and that to get that experience to fight everyone, get your losses down in amateurs before turning pro. But you've done the opposite. You kind of just jump straight into it, and you're still learning as you go. Which is the better approach, you reckon?
No, it's the biggest regret of my life, to be honest. I would have been having amateur fights as frequently as possible if I didn't do that. That's why I've had to take such a long time off. I think I had nearly a 3-year break in my fighting career where I knew when I looked at everybody ranked above me, I said I'll get my ass kicked by every single one of them. It wouldn't even be competitive. I had to be honest with myself. That's when I devoted so much time to train full time, because I thought if they've started training when they're 6 years old like Cody hadn't, how frequently do I need to train to be at his level? And I devoted so much time to it when I was up in Queensland at Puma under Vince Perry, working with him, and also he gave me the keys to the gym. So some nights I was in there and I was doing technique over and over again till like 10:30 at night, trying to get the hours of training in. That's what I had to do.
Yeah, man, sounds good. And the decision to live in a van, bro, a lot of people are kind of interested in that. It hits, you look on the internet, you look up, I'm living in a van or something, there's these shows with millions of views rather. Like, how is it, bro? Like, how does that feel? And you happy with that sort of lifestyle?
I love it. I noticed when I was cutting to make the bantamweight limit, I hated it, every moment of it. But it's just because I was like, my body was in a bad place. It wasn't a good cut for me. But honestly, I love being in a van. We house sit sometimes at like $1 million mansions, and I just want to be back in the van. I'm used to it now. It's been a long time. We have a 24-hour pass at Anytime Fitness. They have like amazing facilities. Just go have our showers there, and it's just a place that you sleep on wheels, basically.
Yeah, man, it's cool. It's cool that it's kind of versatile, right? You can move around in that, and it's kind of like, a pretty easy lifestyle too. You don't have to worry about these massive bills coming in and, trying to get cash to pay for this and that. Like, even you own a house now, you got to be paying money everywhere for different things, but at least that cuts down that stress, right?
Yeah, this is the only way I could do what I do, is by living in the van. There's no other way.
Yeah. And it kind of leads to what I mentioned. You really seem like the type of guy that is the type of guy who will be traveling at some point in your life, and you're ready to go, man. Like, it's not much different from being in Australia where you are now to being in another country and setting up the same sort of thing and traveling around. You'd be well sorted and ready for it, right?
Yeah,
that's it.
Exactly.
Bro, what are your sort of goals for yourself, like for now, I guess 2023 in the future? For fighting and just generally in life, bro?
Well, yeah, I want the UFC contract. I don't think I'll be settled until I'm bringing in enough money through fighting. That's just my goal. I have to just stay tunnel vision on it. Like 6-1 now. I don't know. What do you think's a good record for the UFC, for me to be knocking on the UFC's door?
Bro, I'm not the guy to talk to about it, but I was actually just thinking of it when I was looking at your record. I was just thinking, they'd like to see finishes, right? And you're like on your way. You're finishing everyone. The only one was Cody, and that could have turned around the other way too. So you're on the way, bro. Just you keep performing like that. As long as you have the right connections, which you obviously would have some connections there through freestyle and that, to knock on the door of somewhere like Contender. You're an exciting fighter, man. You're the type of fighter people want to watch. So, you could be knocking on the door any given time, right?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think, I need to be tested, obviously. I need to start fighting the best guys in the weight division this next year. And then we'll really see where I'm at, I learned a lot from that loss with Cody. Like, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. It really was the best thing that ever happened to me. I wouldn't even take it back just to have an undefeated record. It really forced me to get a lot better in every area. And, I'm willing to just keep fighting. And, if I do get another loss, it's just another learning experience. I'm going to build up more wins and more finishes than losses. And then they won't be able to refuse me to get there. That's the way that I see it.
Yeah, bro, and keep trying to work on that online presence, like to build your name, bro. You're like a good character, you're an interesting sort of guy, interesting lifestyle and everything, bro. Keep building it, bro, because that's what they want as well. Yeah, they want people that can help the brands and that. So, you have a good online presence, you have a lot of fans. That makes it a lot easier for people like the UFC to take you on because they want to see those sort of people help them, right? You'll help them, they'll help you. That's how it works.
Yeah, well, it's funny. Like, I sat down with my manager, geez, it would have been like 7 or 8 months ago. And he gave me some advice on fighting. He said, you fight for such a small amount of time through the year, You need to build something, a brand around yourself outside of fighting. And that's what I did. I put my head down, wrote a plan. What am I going to do? And then I started attacking it. And now I've built up my following on Instagram, which is really good. I've done all the right things there. I'm trying to set myself up with my MMA analysis. I'd like to work in analysis, after my career's done. That might be my way of traveling and still earning a good wage. And it's something I love. So, yeah,
That's true, man.
It's all about building yourself up. And I think that up-and-coming fighters really should do that because I know Instagram and all that stuff's toxic at times and boring. But honestly, do you want to make it or not? Like, sometimes you got to do the things that you don't want to do. And, if you get good at it, you'll enjoy them.
Bro, and it's exactly the same as like building a skill in fighting too, right? Like it takes time and you slowly keep going and chipping away and, within a X amount of time, you're going to be an expert at whether it's editing or presenting or filming or all those things, you're going to tick off the boxes as you go. And anyone who doesn't do that's going to be left behind,
That's right. That is right. Yeah.
That's it, bro. So just give me a click on what's your like typical week for yourself, bro. Like what are you doing these days as far as training, waking up, doing those extra 1%ers or whatever? What's a week in the life of Jarrett Wilbraham?
Yeah, so wake up, just breakfast and that sort of thing. Then we're straight in for our first session of training. I'll go and train for an hour and a half or so and then leave there, go to the gym, do my strength and conditioning, leave the gym, have lunch, and then I've got probably a couple of hours rest. That's when I do all my online stuff as well as in the morning. And then I'm back for training from 5 p.m. till, 7 p.m.
Yep.
And then it's just dinner and then bed. That's just what it is in repetition. And then trying to find a bit of time on the weekend to let go of all that stress, because even when I'm sitting there doing my analysis work, it's not rest because your brain's just, in overdrive. So it's good to try to find those moments of relaxation because it really is a full-time job. And then every time I need a bit of money, I'll go and jump on the trail and lay bricks with my old man for half a day. So I'll train in the morning, rush back to Nowra, get straight on the trail, work the rest of the day, and then straight back up here for training.
Man, sound like a busy lifestyle, bro. Hey, on the all the 1%ers and that, bro, like dieting and that, I heard you mention the fight dietitian's name. You work with those guys, do you?
Yeah, absolutely. I've worked with Jordy many times, helping me get down to the bantamweight, But I sent him a message just thanking him because he didn't tell me to go up a weight class, but he would advise me in what I would have to do to make bantamweight again. And it was always stripping muscle back off my frame and, telling me why I feel certain ways with my hormones were all out. And I wasn't sleeping properly and I was real irritable and it wasn't a good time. So he supported me through that, and through his advice, I came into fight week right on where I should be, my weight for featherweight. and the cut was good. I felt great when I was in there, and I've never fought feeling good before. I've always fought absolutely depleted. Fight starts, minute in, I'm dizzy. I feel like I've spun around 20 times and now I'm trying to fight somebody. That's what the cut would do to me, but I wasn't aware of the effect it was having on me until I've gone up my weight class, felt what it was like, and thought this is exactly where I need to be.
Man, that's good. And what other sort of things do you do, bro? I mean, there's so many things that fighters are doing nowadays, but do you subscribe to like cold bars and sauna and all this sort of thing, and getting the right amount of sleep, and obviously you're doing your strength and conditioning. What other things are you doing apart from just the training?
Yeah, the recovery's a big one. I was doing P3, which was like cold plunge and that sort of thing up in Queensland, and I did find that it helped a lot in my recovery. But at the moment, like, I'm not willing to, it sounds bad, but I'm not willing to even spend money on that. I need to stretch more. There's more that I do need to do. Like, I need to stretch. I do need to look after myself a bit better. I have all these plans for really starting a new, like, bringing myself to a new level with this sort of thing, because we can stretch every day or twice a day. It's still not enough. The sport's so like the muscles always contracting, and you need to really set aside a lot of time to stretch. And I think stretching and sleep and drinking water and good nutrition is all you need for like the perfect recovery. And I look forward to working on that a bit more.
Yeah, man, it's a balance. I always thought, and I still feel like this, man, like, you know, the old Chinese adage of hard and soft, you know, that it should sort of be balanced a bit, you know, yin yang and all this.
Yeah.
And I always think that I always done too much external stuff, bro, like, you know, kickboxing, and now I was more of a stand-up guy, but kickboxing and all that, and just hitting things and doing weights and all that, it's so, you know, it's that hard side of life and everything, and physicality. And then I always think I neglected the side of, you know, of the soft side of meditation and stretching and, you know, relaxation and sleep and all that. And I think it's important to get that balance, especially for longevity. Otherwise you get to be older like me and you're all fucking stiff and some injuries creeping up and that. But if you manage both sides, I think it's easier to, like, kind of, you know, maintain a healthy sort of lifestyle later as well. Yeah.
For sure. It's like, I guess it's such a like masculine sport in a way it's all about doing, do more, do this, do that. But then you're not nurturing yourself, like tapping into that more feminine side, I guess. But that's what's got me so far is if I drill something in the morning and learn something at the gym, that day I've got my partner in the park and I'm drilling it again for probably the same amount of time. So, you know, if we do an hour and a half class, I'm really drilling that technique 3 hours of a day. And that's what really has gotten me to the level where I'm at now. And it's so hard for me to now pull back on that and start stretching, because I look at stretching like, well, this isn't making my skills any better. But to be honest, like, my kicks weren't any good really in that last fight. And that's because I've just been focusing so hard on like my wrestling and boxing, and I used to just do kicks and I used to stretch a lot. So I need to now go back and find the perfect balance.
That's it, man. On that note, does your partner actually train and compete or anything like that?
Every gym that she goes to, she gets asked to fight, because she really would be really good at fighting. Really good. And she's really light too, so she'd be down at like a really low weight division, and she's very strong, she's very explosive, but I can't put her through it. Like, this sport's a curse, it honestly is, and I don't want her to go through it.
Yeah, fair call, bro. Hey, just a couple of questions to finish. I always ask people this because I think you guys are very, very motivated to be a pro MMA fighter. Very difficult, man. You know, it's a very tough job, like you said. It's basically get up, train, rest, repeat. How would you, you know, what advice would you give for people to motivate themselves to do things, bro, whether it's training or something else? Like, how do you do it? How do you motivate yourself?
I just say to people, like, if you want to be good at something, if you have a dream and you give it 100%, like if you truly give it 100% to yourself, and really stick to that, there's no way you can fail. There really is no way of failure in my eyes. That's something that I truly believe. I meet a lot of people and they talk about their dreams. It comes up a lot when they talk to me because I'm following my dream, and they say they wanted to do this or they wanted to do that and they really wanted it, but they admit, like, I didn't put the effort in, and it kind of haunts them for the rest of their life. I wake up every day and I think about myself laying on my deathbed and I've got hours left to live, and I'm looking back at my life. Did I give it 100%? Or did I just live a comfortable life? I want to be able to look at myself in the mirror at that moment and know that I've done everything that I could.
Yeah, man. And what you mentioned is a key theme that comes up, man, talking to some big coaches and obviously professional fighters is, you know, you don't have to have the best natural talent in anything really, like, to succeed, you know, like so many fighters are not the peak physical specimen, right? They've just done the work. So, like, just it's like that in pretty much anything. I think if you have persistence, right, you have that drive and persistence to keep going to master something, and that's how you get there, right? So, not always about talent. A lot of it's about persistence, and if you've got that, you're gonna come up trumps, right? You're gonna get there.
That's it. I sat on the bench in all the years I played league when I was a kid. You know, I wasn't athletically gifted. I wasn't big. I wasn't strong. But I persisted, and I've hit the gym and I got stronger, and, you know, my body type does work for this sport. So if you're a good footy player, you're already, you know, 10 times the athlete that I am. There's no excuse as to why you can't be good at fighting, but you have to start today. You can't dwell on it, because I dwelled on it for so many years, and until somebody like really fought. My brother came to the gym just so I would go. My brother, he became a fighter as well. He had a couple of fights and he would have been better than me as well. I just persisted with it. But, you know, you really got to just take that first step. Once you step foot in the gym, you will not regret it.
Yeah, that's it, man. Another thing too, man, I mean, you've been through a lot, listening to some of your podcasts, different things, psychological trauma and whatever, and coming through your life now. What would you say is a recommendation from you for kind of keeping yourself healthy overall, like just true health, you know, not necessarily being a MMA fighter, but just being a healthy, rounded person?
Yeah, you just got to always keep yourself in check and just have a lot of self-reflection on who you are. I think, like, our egos are also powerful, that we don't really realize the negative effects we're having on our own life or other people's lives around us until we really sit back and look at ourselves honestly. And I think you have to be honest about a lot of things, learn to take losses, learn to admit that you've made mistakes, and just know that what you believe at this current time in your life is not going to be the same as a year down the track. Don't be so opinionated. You know, I was so opinionated for so many years of my life because it was a defense mechanism from the things that I've been through. But, you know, you don't have to be like that. You're allowed to be vulnerable and show that, you know, it's not weakness. It's not weak to reach out to people and talk to people. There's a lot of stigma behind that. But I think, you know, we need to all be there for each other and realize that, like, life is, like, fucking cruel, man. It really is. If we all knew what was coming in the end, we'd all be, like, curled up on the ground in fetal position, and it's a tough thing to get through. So we all need to be there for one another.
Yeah, bro, it's true. And on that, bro, on that note, we'll sort of end up. Just one last thing, bro. When do you think we'll expect to see you back in the cage again?
Yeah, I'm hoping February on Eternal Perth. That's what I'm aiming for. So I really want to get on that card. If not, March in the Gold Coast. I still want to fight. You know, I want to fight for Eternal. That's where I want to be. I feel like that's my home. So, you know, Cam, Ben Vickers, if you're listening, get me on that card, please.
Good call, bro. All right, man. Thanks for your time. If we have any chance in the future, I'd like to chat with you a bit more. There was a few talking about your upbringing in Nowra, and that kind of rings a bit of interest to me. So we'll have a chat in the future if you have some time, bro.
Oh, I'd love to. I've been a fan of your podcast for a while and all your interviews, and just been sitting here silently hoping that one day I'll be on there, and here I am. So I appreciate it, Toby.
Thanks, man. Thanks for your time, mate.